The world's end, a place of finality, a full stop in time and place, tightly constrained and self-contained, as if protecting itself from the vast expanse that surrounds it. But what is it? And why is it? It feels like the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, evasive, mystical, and not actually real. But the world's end is real, and we can point to it on a map. In fact, there are many places across Britain that are called the world's end. We have the World's End pub in Camden, the World's End estate a few miles over in Kensington and Chelsea at the bank of the Thames, villages in Berkshire, Buckinghamshire, Hampshire, Dorset, all the way up to Scotland, all the way up to Edinburgh and Falkirk in Scotland. These places are far-flung and close together. What brings them together is that they are steeped in history. They signify borders, edges, and of physical places and psychogeographical imagination. Like looking over the edge of a cliff or a waterfall, the world's end is a way of describing that liminal place where one world ends and another begins. It's a place of crossing. Outsiders, whether real or imagined, had long been viewed with fear, suspicion, or maybe even awe. It's a primordial reaction as we try to make sense of the things we don't understand. In many areas, the name World's End is closely associated with beliefs about spirits or the supernatural. It is often thought that spirits might linger at the edges of the world, making these places important in terms of ghost stories, folklore, and placemaking. At the edges of known civilization, these places were sometimes thought to be places where the rules of normal world didn't apply, rich in stories of strange happenings, unusual creatures, or otherworldly experiences. Once a Victorian slum area, the World's End district of Chelsea sits at the western end of the King's Road, now a towering block of red brick brutalist architecture built between 1969 and 1975, and on what was at the time the largest council estate in Europe. In what has been dubbed the most unequal borough in Britain, with £5 million Georgian houses of Chelsea just over the road, the average income of the 750 homes in the estate is just £15,000 a year. The area gets its name from a local pub it shares it with, and like many of the pubs named the World's End, it emerged in the reign of King Charles II. Chelsea's World's End Tavern can be seen on any of the eldest maps of Chelsea. To it, a narrow alleyway runs along the river, providing a safe haven for travellers on the island that was notorious for street robbing and described in Congreve's restoration comedy Love for Love, published in 1695, as a place of questionable reputation in the west of London. In The Old and New London, published in 1878, the World's End is described in further detail. The tea gardens and grounds were extensive and elegantly fitted up for the reception of the company. The house was probably called the World's End on account of its then considerable distance from London and the bad and dangerous state of the roads and pathways leading to it. By the time of the late 1960s, it had become a place for the bohemians and gentrifiers, a centre for counterculture, with boutiques like Granny Takes a Trip and Gandalf's Gardens selling incense, candles and books on spirituality. One furniture shop sold reconditioned furniture and was home to a lion cub. Another shop was frequented by Twiggy and Keith Richards, selling silk and velvet cushions and wall hangings. This continued up until the 1970s and 80s, where Vivienne Westwood opened her own boutique, Sex. Other World's Ends include a poky little passage in Edinburgh's Old Town. From the 15th century, the city has contained itself within a series of walls and passageways. The main gate at Netherbow Court stands on the side of the World's End Junction, closing its doors to the population of Edinburgh at curfew and only to be let in at fee. The World's End passageway is described as one of Edinburgh's many atmospheric alleyways, once marking the boundary of the city. Beyond it, an uncertain and unsafe world. Alleyways like this are said to have inspired Rowling's writings in Harry Potter, specifically Diagon Alley with its cobbled streets, strange shops and narrow passageways. Further north in Falkirk, you will find the cliffs of the southern edge of the Antonine Wall. The name is thought to have found its roots in the idea that this is the end of the world, a rather romantic view, likely evoked by its striking geological features. It was indeed a boundary of the Roman Empire in Britain, a frontier where the civilised world ended and where you might look out the wild and untamed expanse of Scotland. And that's it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed this look at the meaning of the World's End. Goodbye.